when you saw the reports coming in last night. What were your first thoughts?
Well, I'm just thankful I wasn't on board. A very terrifying experience for those on board. And made worse by the fact that they were serving a meal at the time. So you had all the flight attendants on their feet, food carts, trays, food on, and wine, etc., in front of folks. So absolute bedlam and chaos. A very terrifying incident.
What do you understand happened and went on?
It appears as though the aircraft has encountered a severe turbulence, a severe thunderstorm cell, I should say, just south of Myanmar, en route tracking towards Thailand, then down the Malaysian coast to Singapore. The question is, the radar on board. Now, Singapore Airlines have very sophisticated multi-scan radars on their aircraft. Why it did not pick up the severity of this one, will probably take some time to find out. But certainly, the aircraft, the pilots should have gone around the thunderstorm. It appears as though they blundered too close to it, possibly because of some issues with the multi-scan radar, possibly.
It was a Boeing 777, a big jet. What's the difference that makes for what they're encountering?
Look, not well. The bigger the aircraft, one would think the more it can handle turbulence. But when you get into that sort of turbulence, it's going to get pretty nasty very, very quickly. I've been on board an A380 in severe turbulence where passengers were crying and everybody was really, quite traumatised. But an A380 is about as big as it can get. So, size doesn't really matter that much.
Are there some routes around the world where they're more susceptible to turbulence?
Yes, there are. You've got different sorts of weathers, and this is one of the beauties of the multi-scan radar, which was actually pioneered by Qantas in 2002, built by Rockwell Collins. What it does, it interprets thunderstorm intensity by scanning to the bottom of the thunderstorm where the rain is, and then painting a picture on the radar of what it's like at 40,000 feet. Now, the software is very sophisticated because it varies depending on what part of the world you're in as to the severity and the nature of the thunderstorms. But to the point, the other dynamic here is clear air turbulence, and that's associated with jet streams. Now, jet streams move around on a daily basis, and they are more severe in different parts of the world. So yes, you do certainly get variations. And the other dynamic is mountains. Across the Rocky Mountains in the United States, you can get very severe turbulence because of the impact of the mountain ranges. So that's another dynamic that adds to the mix.
Just finally, Geoffrey, we've seen stories like this before, although this is certainly an extreme one. One passenger died from a suspected heart attack. We've got Australians still in hospital. What happens now with an investigation? What are they going to look at?
Yes, the Singaporean authorities will lead the investigation into this. They'll look at, the warnings that were given. They'll look at what the dynamics were in the cockpit of the analysis of the situation that's coming up, and then come to some conclusions. But one of the dynamics here, which is really important, is over the last 40 years, severe turbulence has increased by 55%. Because of climate change, and moderate turbulence by 37%. So climate change is a dynamic here that is really starting to affect the smoothness of our travels.
So we can take it from that. We'll be expecting more of it.
I'm afraid so.